My preferred argument for why gender incongruence is not a disorder of the mind is as follows. You take a schizophrenic brain and swap the body, doesn't matter what body you swap it into, the same issue persists. With gender incongruence, if you swap the brain into a particular type of body, there's no longer a problem. It's not a mental disorder because it lacks the property of body independence that every mental disorder has. Rather, it's a mismatch between the brain and the body, and neither of the two is solely to blame. But many people in the trans community have a different view. They say the brain is right and the rest of the body is the problem. This reflects a brain-centric way of thinking about human beings, the concept that the brain is you and the rest of your body is just a meat suit that you reside in. It seems to me that most of the people who are opposed to the mainstream trans narrative have their beliefs on the matter founded on non-brain-centrism. They view the brain as just a part of a larger system, not placing it in a class separate from every other part of the body. In their view, if all parts of the system do not work in harmony because the brain is the piece that is the odd one out, then the brain would be the faulty component of the machine, so to speak. And I find this argument too to be decently strong. I'm pretty tired of the typical kind of online trans debates. What I'd like to see is people of the pro-trans left and the trans-critical right debate the topic of brain-centrism, a debate about whether brain-centrism is the paradigm by which we should view human beings. With all that being said, I believe that transitioning being the right approach to take does not depend on whether brain-centrism is the way that human beings should be conceptualized. Whether the brain is thought of as the North Pole reference point, or whether it's the majority consensus of all the body parts that determines the reference point, that's not really relevant to whether transitioning is the way to go. What determines that is practical outcomes. In other words, I think that whether someone should or shouldn't transition doesn't lie in the philosophical, but rather only in the practical.